Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria, the program that brings you news from the length and breadth of the country. I'm Imana Amawe. Coming up today on the program, 30 people electrocuted at a football viewing center in Cross River State. Yobe state government brainstorms with security agencies on ways to counter terrorist attacks. And political parties in Delta State signed peace accord ahead of the Warri South by-elections. Many thanks for staying with us. Residents in Calabar have been speaking on the tragedy that struck last night following the electrocution of some football fans at a viewing center in the state capital. Eyewitnesses put the number of the dead at 30, with the state government claiming 7. While one of the hospitals where some of the bodies were taken to acknowledged receiving 8 bodies. In the meantime, the state government has ordered the setting up of a commission of inquiry to unravel the circumstances surrounding the incident.
A Black Thursday for the residents of the Nyagazan community in Calabar municipality. Scores of people had converged on this football viewing center to watch the UEFA Europa League quarter-final match between Manchester United and Anderlecht on satellite television. They never bargained for what happened minutes into the game. A high-tension cable disconnected from its mooring and fell on the roof of the viewing center. Many of the football fans were electrocuted, throwing the entire community into confusion.
As if they were trying something.
This woman has become a widow as a result, as her husband was one of those at the viewing center.
Everywhere turned to red. Oh, they were inside. Nobody came outside. They rushed to come out. Everybody was just on top of one another. On top of one another. I could not remove my husband. I tried my best. That light was there, the fire was there, burning them over 15 minutes.
The customers do not exist.
The spokesperson of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, John Oni, is also at the scene of the incident to see things for himself. He gives assurance of a thorough investigation of the matter.
As a responsive organization, we have set our machinery in motion to investigate to the remote and immediate cause of this accident. So we are only appealing to the members of this community to remain calm. All the issues raised shall be addressed.
The governor has asked me to
The state deputy governor is here at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital to visit the victims, and he is taken round the facility by officials.
Something must be done very quickly too, to ensure that houses are not built under high tension cables. It's a serious risk, and the Commissioner for Lands is here, and he's supposed to check all the houses that are built there, whether they have due approval to have built the houses in those places.
One of the survivors who confirmed the death of all his friends who were there with him thanked God for sparing his life.
We watched the game for about 38 minutes. Also when we just heard a spark from the high tension cable, and the thing dropped directly on the zinc. Most of us that were there, virtually everybody that was sitting around me, those ones are all dead. That's why I said I cheated dead, because God has a reason for keeping me, because I have not fulfilled my destiny.
The deputy governor promises that government will trace all the bodies said to have been taken to different hospitals in the state capital.
All those who are on admission here will be treated at the expense of the government. So we're taking full responsibility for their treatment. And very soon there'll be a commission of inquiry set up to investigate this matter and to see how this can be avoided in the future.
While many eagerly await the outcome of the promised investigation into this tragic incident, steps should be taken by the residents as well as the government to ensure that this does not recur.
In the meantime, President Muhammad Buhari says he's shocked and saddened by the death of several football fans last night at a viewing center in Calabar, the Cross River State capital. The fans were watching a Europa League match between Manchester United and Anderlecht when a live electric cable fell onto the building, electrocuting those inside. President Buhari offered condolences to the victims' families and commended Cross River State authorities for setting up a commission of inquiry into the incident and for offering to help the victims and their families. And the Office of the National Security Advisor to the President, in collaboration with the Yobe State government, is meeting security agencies to find ways of countering the menace of terrorism. Governor Ibrahim Gaidam says securing the lives and property of the people is everyone's business and called for effective collaboration in waging the war against terrorism.
Stakeholders were drawn from various security agencies, traditional and community leaders, vigilante groups, amongst other well-meaning participants. They will brainstorm on the threat to national security, the security architecture of the zone, amongst other ways of finding sustainable peace in the northeast and the country. And civil society. Addressing the gathering, Governor Ibrahim Gaidam appeals to the federal government through the Office of the Special Advisor to intensify the mopping up of the remnant of Boko Haram terrorists.
A workshop of this nature will enable the participants to extend ideas and arrive at palliative solutions on security issues unique to our zone and take appropriate steps to arrest the threat to life and property. It will equally avail us the opportunity of realizing the need for us all to work together collectively towards eliminating the menace of the men of the underworld and miscreants.
The National Security Advisor, whose address was read by the head of the Counter-terrorism Office, Al-Hassan Husseini, praises the Yobe State government in the rebuilding process and calls for effective collaboration between security forces and the civil populace in fighting insecurity.
We must all realize that to defeat the terrorists or manage acts of terrorism in the country must be steps ahead of the terrorists. To be steps ahead of the terrorists, all government of national power and authority must be activated and channeled adequately. The ONSA expects very good cooperation and contribution from all MPS, civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, and so on.
The Secretary to the Yobe State government says the workshop is timely and will address key issues in the fight against terrorism and work out ways in the rebuilding of the war-devastated areas.
The capacity to ensure survival remains the most important political obligation of all human beings, since it is certainly not possible to engage in any activity unless the safety of life is assured.
Participants were drawn from all of the 6 states that made up the northeast geopolitical zone of the country.